Schumpeter, an Austrian economist, was born on February 8, 1883, what is now known as the Czech Republic. Schumpeter was educated at the University of Vienna, where he was lured into economics by his teachers. He spent a summer studying economics in Berlin, and after marrying, he took a job with an Italian law firm in Egypt. Later on, he served briefly as the Minister of Finance in the Austrian government before having to leave his country due to Nazi invasion. In 1932, he moved to the U.S. to teach at Harvard, and 15 years later, he became the first immigrant to be elected president of the American Economics Association. Schumpeter is best known for his theory of dynamic economic growth and creative destruction, both topics that can be found in his book he published in 1942 called Capitalism, Socialism, and Democracy. He is also credited with the first German and English references to methodological individualism in economics, which can be explained in another book he published in 1934 called The Theory of Economic Development. Schumpeter is believed to be the first scholar to introduce the concept of entrepreneurship. He came up with the German word, which meant entrepreneur spirit. Schumpeter published many books explaining his work, but sadly he died on January 8, 1950.
Entrepreneurs create new innovations and technology that are better suited for society. Entrepreneurs take advantage of capitalist economies by always creating new innovations and starting new business. Schumpeter believed that entrepreneurs were the success to a capitalist economy. He addressed the idea that capitalism was also inherently changing, therefore leaving the entrepreneur at the heart of it all. He highlighted that the growth of capital, which is the change in value of an object over a period of time, and rate of innovation are set upon the outcome and performance of an entrepreneur. He saw capitalism as a method of evolution within the social and economic hierarchy. This was because capitalism revolves around industries that are controlled by private owners for profit. Entrepreneurial innovation would tear down the old equilibrium and introduce a new one, thus making it possible for high living standards. Schumpeter portrays creative destruction as innovations in the manufacturing process that would evidently result in an increase of productivity. Creative destruction provides the result of winners and losers after the process. Once entrepreneurs and new workers create new profit opportunities and jobs, the workers of the older technology would not have much of an advantage and could potentially lose their jobs.
Joseph Schumpeter and his supporters believed that the government should not intervene in the economy. He believed that when the government does intervene, there is increased inflation and the economy is inevitably destroyed. He thought that the government placed artificial constraints and were always a step behind fast-moving technological advancements. Schumpeter highly encouraged and promoted the idea of entrepreneurship, and we see now a modern example of his beliefs and actions by the multiple economic programs and business schools that are promoting entrepreneurship. He also believed that we need to revolutionize patterns of productivity by producing new commodities or producing the old ones in a new way. That we need to allow entrepreneurs to gain a profit because entrepreneurs need to know that they will make money from these technologies that they are creating. Otherwise, we wouldn't have all these people creating revolutionary technologies that we use in our everyday lives. Schumpeter also believed that economics is an organic and dynamic process that is always evolving, and that there are innovative companies that are transforming economies and finding profitable ways of organizing resources. We see many of his beliefs in action, ranging from historical examples such as the printing press and the steam engine, to now modern examples such as automobiles, phones, personal devices, computers, and things such as that.
Many critics disagree with Schumpeter's economic philosophy. One critic explained how Schumpeter's theory had little relevance for underdeveloped or poor countries, as his work did not fit well with them. Schumpeter explained that private innovators can be the prime mover of economic growth, but in more of the poor countries, they cannot afford that, so the government is the biggest innovator. He believed that development is the result of the domestic forces, but underdeveloped economics depends on imported technology. The underdeveloped countries are under a constant streak of population growth. This factor has not been considered by Schumpeter in his analysis. Population growth can create so many economic, social, and political problems, which goes completely against the pace of the development process. Another critic explained that the role of savings is ignored by Schumpeter. He assumes that in his work that innovations are financed by the bank credit, but banks usually grant short-term loans. Schumpeter assumes that innovations are financed by the borrowings from credit-creating banks, but this sort of financing does not occur in most countries. He's ignoring the important sources of real savings, such as deficient financing, budgetary savings, public borrowings, and other fiscal measurements.